Welcome, family and friends. We're going to do a pizza demonstration. So, you can see here we have our ingredients. Pizza dough that we buy frozen in a large dough ball. For our family, we separate it into two pieces and we make two balls. We set them in bowls with olive oil so they don't stick. And we usually pull them out of the freezer the morning of that we're cooking pizza, and let them thaw. And by lunchtime or later in the afternoon, they become pliable enough that you can form them into two separate balls. And then by the time it's dinner time, you have two nicely risen doughs that are ready to make pizza. So we also have olive oil with the Teflon brush. We have flour, our pizza cheese, pepperoni tonight for our pizza sauce. We just like spaghetti sauce, so whatever you like to use is fine. I get out a large spoon for the pizza sauce, and I just have all my toppings ready to go. We're also doing bell pepper and mushrooms tonight. I have my pizza peel ready to go. I like wood ones because the dough doesn't stick as it would to like a metal one. And then over here we have the oven ready. Get your oven heated up as high as it can go. For most ovens it's 550 degrees. We have the pizza stone in the oven, which has been preheating along with the oven for 20-30 minutes, and it's somewhere in the middle rack. Alright, so we are ready to get started. What I do is I coat the pizza peel in some flour. You want to be kind of generous because the dough is going to soak up most of it once the wet dough hits it. I take my dough ball, my first one, and I put some flour on top of that, just a sprinkle, so that's nice and happy. That's all coated. And then we get the dough out of the pan, out of the bowl. If you have too much olive oil, you're going to want to be careful because it's going to drip all over your pizza peel, and you do not want wetness on that pizza board. I have a little bit of olive oil here that's kind of like a puddle. I'm going to just sop that up with a paper towel before I get started because I know from experience that that's going to cause my pizza to stick. And even though this looks very unprofessional, it would be even more unprofessional if it stuck to the pizza peel when I'm about to get in the oven. So I like to just fold it in my hands, and my hands are kind of covered in flour too, so it takes the wetness away. So you get it down on the flour. You're going to want to put it lightly on the other side, on the wet side, soak up some flour. And now you can see the dough that I'm working with is pretty much coated in flour totally, so it's not going to stick, right? So what I do is I form that piece of dough. This dough is very soft tonight. Some nights are different than others. You have to really manipulate it. But today I'm just going to make it into a nice circle, because if you start with a circle, perfect circle, and you go to stretch it, it'll turn into a perfect circle pizza. If this isn't perfect right now, you're probably going to get a triangle or a rectangle or something. So once it's nice and circular, I'm not stretching it yet. The first thing I'm going to do is form the crust, and I do that with my fingertips. So I hold my one hand on the edge, and then I press my fingertips down, and as I go around, I'm just forming that crust. It's about a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch from the edge. And now I'm ready to start working with it. So I like to press down the middle some. I do not want to manipulate the edges because that crust is just going to stretch out and be my ring. So I'm pressing down the middle, then I'll pick it up with the backs of my hands and just kind of work it around. And as you do this, it kind of shakes off the excess flour because you don't want too much flour on the bottom of your pizza. I'm just spinning it around and I'm stretching the edges. If you get really fancy, you can toss it. And that seems to work really good, but you gotta try not to drop it as well. So this one's getting, the more you stretch it, the thinner your crust is going to be. So do whatever you want. I'm going to check my pizza peel to make sure my flour is good. Light dusting is good. But you got to remember that dough is going to soak up the flour, so you're going to want to work fast. So as soon as you set it down, don't take your time. You're going to want to hurry. So the dough's sitting there, right? I got a nice pizza-shaped circle. I'm going to go on with my sauce right away. For us, we do 3 big tablespoons of sauce, maybe 3.5. I'll just swirl that around with the back of the spoon. You don't gotta be too fancy with it because when it cooks, it's all just gonna liquefy and spread out. Okay, that's good. You don't want a ton of sauce because if you get too much on there, it's just gonna make your pizza wet. Going for the cheese. We use a pizza cheese blend. And again, as much or as little as you like. I found that, you know, some nights I'm really wanting some more cheese, so I put a lot on, but most of the times, a little bit goes a long way. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, so the kids, this is the kids' pizza tonight, so they just like pepperoni. We're going to go in with the pepperoni as fast as you can. Remember that dough is going to stick if you let it sit too long. With the pepperoni, they tend to shrink up and melt down, so I like to put on more than you think you need. Think about the Pizza Hut pepperoni lovers. It's just covering every square inch of the pizza. Never looks like that when you're done, but you get the idea. If we had some Parmesan cheese, I would top it with Parmesan right before I put it in the oven. But we don't tonight, and that's cool. It'll still taste good. We have a lot of pepperoni in the freezer, so I tend to be really generous on pepperoni nights. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Now we go around the edge of the crust with olive oil. This is optional, but I think it gives it like a little bit of a golden brown. You gotta be careful when you're doing this. If you choose to do this step, it might not be the step for beginners, because if you put too much on, again, the olive oil will sink around the edges and make the pizza dough stick to the wood, which is not what you want. So I'm just going right on the top lip with it, a little bit, and just for flavor, I like to sprinkle some olive oil on top. You don't have to do this, but something I found makes it taste good, makes the cheese nice and brown and crusty. So this thing's ready to go in. Now what you're thinking is, how do I get this off of here and into the oven? Remember we had the flour underneath, and I blow a little bit of air to release it from the wood. So when I do that, you see I have a bubble underneath the pizza now, and that bubble is going to go down, but it also creates the levitating that you want for it to slide. So right before it goes in, whoo, see how slippery it is. I'll get it sliding, and I won't stop moving it until I'm ready to get it in the oven. See how I'm just keep moving it? A little bit more air under there. And you just shake it off. Now we have raw pizza dough right on a hot stone, and that's what you want. That's what you want to get the crispy crust. I'll let this go until I see the center of the pizza start to bubble. You'll see the edges get hot first, and then once the center starts to boil, I'll stick my pizza peel in there again, get it up, and give it a spin, give it a half spin, and then set it right back down on the pizza stone, and that just makes sure your crust gets nice and brown and even. And then it's up to you when you pull it out. I like the thing to be, I watch for the crust. If the crust is to my likeness of darkness, brownness, toastiness, then it's done. You might not want that. You might just want like a nice puffy white crust. You might pull it out a little bit earlier, but that's all there is to it. We'll show you what the result looks like. Okay, welcome back. The pizza in the center is starting to bubble, so I'm just gonna flip it, spin it, twirl it for you guys and show you what I do. So, we're looking pretty good. We're gonna get that pizza out, and it's gonna be hot, so you're gonna wanna be quick. Just give it a spin and put it right back down. Now that it's partially cooked, it's not gonna stick to the wood, so you'll see it moves really easy. I'll show you when it's all done. So there you go. Nice and hot and bubbly. Pepperonis are crispy. The crust is golden brown. That's what you want. You know, and there's no time limit. You guys you'll see if we had the camera on the whole time. I'm watching the oven. I'm just waiting for that perfect time to pull that thing out of the oven. All in all, I don't know, probably 5 minutes or something, but you guys just gonna have to watch it and see what it looks like. I'm just thankful May had a pizza cutter up here at Easy Street.
Are you gonna put in your video, Dad?
Video's on right now.
It's weird because it's like the same part, but no.
I forgot to move this stone.
Uh-oh.
Pizza stone is smoking.
And how are you gonna make the popcorn? You don't have a popcorn maker.
Good question.
You can cook it.
To look around. Yeah, you can cook it in a pot on the stove.
Oh yeah, I see a lot of people do that sometimes. It probably won't cook that good though.
Guys, be quiet. I want them to hear the crispiness. Dinner is served.